Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show, your daily fix of football chat here on STV. The main talking points tonight: the SFA Chief Executive Stuart Regan says making clubs have strict liability for the conduct of their fans is back on the agenda. And after yesterday's late evening Scottish Cup draw, we'll get reaction from some of the players involved. Gavin Riley, Dylan McGeoch, Lee Griffiths no less, talking about their draw, and also Brian Laudrup talks about Rangers and where they currently find themselves in Scottish football. Just a few of the former players and players we have on the programme, including, of course, our regular main man, Alan Rough. And alongside Alan, our boot-room guest is former Aberdeen and Celtic striker Joe Miller. So let's cut to the chase. The SFA Chief Executive Stuart Regan talking, of course, about the conduct of Celtic fans. First and foremost, there's been quite a list of clubs that could be held responsible for the conduct of their fans if they step out of line.
I think there's more of an appetite for more stringent rules. Because I think there's a recognition that we just can't allow such behaviour to continue. Quite what that looks like and how the rules can be amended will be up to our lawyers to assist us with, and also our members' willingness to change. But we'll be working on it in the coming weeks.
Of course, Ruffy, the clubs have to vote for this. Yeah. Everybody has to get round a table and say, OK, we are responsible for our fans, and then they suffer the consequences if the fans step out of line.
Yeah, but I think it's a really, really difficult one, Peter. As you know, that the clubs actually preach to their supporters to behave themselves impeccably, and then you go to an away game and then mindless people come in and spoil it for everybody else. And I don't know how much you can do. And it's a terrible thing. We have to really do something about it because somebody's going to get hurt. Now, the pleasing thing about it is that Celtic have acted very quickly in punishing 3, and that's a good sign. I think that's a sign to everybody else round about them that they are going to be banished for the games.
Yeah, my worry about this whole thing, Joe Miller, is there is undoubtedly a need for everyone to take responsibility individually as well for their own set of fans, because next season there's no point in hiding from this. If Rangers are back in the top flight, we will have that clash of the two Glasgow Giants again.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to nip it in the bud. I think overall and over the piece, I think the behaviour from fans at clubs is impeccable. But it just takes an incident like the other day there, to raise the awareness that the clubs have got to take now, and the actions that they've got to take and put things in place. But I think over the piece, the general behaviour of fans is good. It's just the small minority that's going to misbehave. But I think the SFA and the clubs will take action, and they're showing a good example by trying to nip it in the bud as early as they can.
Yeah, I must admit, I take exception slightly and consistently with this line that comes out that it's a small minority on all these occasions, Ruffy. I think, there's a number of supporters groups, and I think, a number of individuals would like to see, the Scottish Football Association and, of course, the SPFL fall into line with UEFA on this, strict sanctions, so that the fans know that if you step out of line, whether it's a small minority or a large section, the club is going to suffer. They might think twice about doing this. It's the only way to stamp it out.
Yeah, it is. The people that are in that area need to know that you are going to be punished. And we don't want self-policing. I think the police are there for a reason. The stewards are there for a reason. I think the first thing we have to do is probably search them more properly on the way in. I don't think these flares must be noticeable. And if you're really actively trying to find them out, then they will be found out. But I really do think that we have to act very, very quickly, and because I think in the long run, if you're talking about going across to Europe and that, they're going to get punished more severely, and they already have been punished. So we know what happens if it goes down that road, that you end up nobody gets in at all to see any European games.
Yep. As for the draw itself, if you missed last night's programme, we got reaction to the immediate draw, but of course there were a number of players, managers, chairman, all talking about the draw. One of them was a very excited East Kilbride Thistle chairman, Mark Horner, who has obviously to hope that his players get past Lothian Thistle to get that mouth-watering tie against Celtic.
Wow, what a draw. I don't think we were expecting as big a team as that, but wow. But we've still got to do it first in the first tie, so a lot more pressure on us then. This is what the Cup's all about, so really looking forward to it.
Well, it will be amazing if it's played at the K Park, I have to tell you, Ruffy. But of course, even Lothian Thistle might think about looking towards Easter Road to stage the tie if they get through.
Yeah, I think the most important thing for the club is to raise as much money as possible. This tie doesn't come along too often. It'll be a day to remember, and you want it to pass safely. I think both grounds maybe hold 600-700. You want to try and make as much money out of it as possible, and moving it to a ground or even moving it to Celtic would be a fantastic income. I think they're all saying that it would keep them going for 2 or 3 years with the income from that. But I would just like to know if both captains have chapped their owner's door yet. Want to know what the bonus is for the next game.
Absolutely.
Players be players.
Although, Joe, I mean, I can understand the financial implications of it. 2 or 3 years of keeping your club going, maybe getting ground improvements, a buy-in to all that. But taking a club the size of Celtic to a small ground, you know, just a small set of fans, they're not going to be intimidated, but it certainly would be interesting.
Well, I'm sure every single player in both teams are just dreaming that they could maybe, you know, they'll be thinking about that game and thinking, what if they could turn over Celtic? You know, there's just that wee element that, you know, they've got a chance. But at the same time, anything can happen. You know, cup upsets are, you know, I know all about them. So it's, you know, it is a mountain to overcome coming against the players that are at Celtic. You know, it's particularly these players who are maybe working during the week and they've got jobs from 9 to 5 and things like that. But, you know, the prospect of coming up against full-time Celtic players would be a dream for them.
Yeah, and of course it was a dream for you, Joe, as the memories come flooding back. 10 years, Roy Keane, Celtic, and you masterminded along with Graham Roberts the defeat of Celtic in the Cup. Yeah,
well, it was, you know, all the attention was on Roy Keane that day, but that's where the kind of fairy tale fell on the back and on the shoulders of the players that we put together. These young kids had they all been refused at other clubs, they'd all been released, so for them they thought their careers was over, so they had a second chance, and when we put them all together, got them gelled, you know, we turned out a good side, but, you know, they had nothing to fear that day. You know, we were fortunate that quite a few of the Celtic side were injured or suspended, and that went in our favour, so it was a giant killer that day. You know, we got all the publicity you could imagine, but you know, I can't see East Kilbride or Lothian Thistle even turning over Celtic in this tie. But at the same time, it will be a tasty tie as far as they're concerned.
As a man who was in the dugout, what would you say to them if you were the manager there of Lothian Thistle or East Kilbride for a tie like that?
Well, since I'm a Celtic supporter, I'm not going to say. But I'm sure they will be up for the motivation itself. They'll be there. You know, it's just how they play on the day, and you know, I think it's down to you know, they'll make it his life as difficult as possible for the Celtic players. But you know, if they can dream a wee bit and try and turn that into a reality, it's, you know, it'll be phenomenal for them.
It's not just about that day. It's about from now to that day, because every day their mates are all going to be talking about it. It's just going to be discussed all through the town and everything.
For tickets as well, you know.
Yeah, it'll just be a fantastic time leading up to the game, and obviously the week of the game, that's when the nerves will start to kick in and the reality of what is about to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, if it is to be Lothian Thistle, we've been talking about East Kilbride. If it was Lothian Thistle Hutchison Vale, it's quite a long name on the shirt these days. But former Celtic, the Celtic striker now, Lee Griffiths, knows all about Hutchison Vale.
I used to play with Hutchie Vale when I was younger, but I've not come across them in a cup competition for a while. So it'll be good if we get them, or like I say, East Kilbride, but they'll be both going at it hammer and tongs. And it'll be interesting to see who we get. He's been phenomenal this year.
Yeah, I think he's been phenomenal since he joined the club. But you know, I think you know, he's took the lone striker role, you know, on his shoulders, and he's done the business, you know. But you know, I think even before he joined the club, when he was at Hibs, and the goals he scored for them were fantastic, left and right foot. You know, he had an eye for the goal, and that's helped him with the job and the role that he plays at Celtic just now. He gets himself there, he gets himself into the box. he's hungry to score goals, and that's what's pleasing. It's pleasing for the fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And the good news is, whether it's East Kilbride or Lothian Thistle, League of Us will get pelters at either ground, Ruffy.
Yeah, he certainly will, but he'll love it, you know, and he's now becoming a fan's favourite. I think if you saw the game at Stranraer at the weekend, he was right in amongst the fans, and the fans just love that kind of player that we can celebrate with.
Yep. OK, we're going to get reaction from Hearts and Hibs players, Dylan McGeoch and Gavin Riley, on the way. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Alan Ruff is alongside me. Peter Martin, our Bootroom guest, is former Aberdeen and Celtic striker Joe Miller. In the first part of the programme, Joe revealed he was a Celtic fan, which really should rock the programme to its core, to be perfectly honest with you. So let's crack on now with Ruffy. Who knows who he supports? Because this next section, I don't even know why I'm bothering him to ask the question, because you can't get a ticket for love nor money when it comes around. I'm almost certain, Ruffy. Hearts against Hibs. It's going to be a cracker.
Yeah, we spoke about East Kilbride and Lothian Thistle.
Yeah.
Hibs and Hearts, doesn't matter what level you're playing at, that's going to be the talking point from now until that game happens. There's going to be a lot of excitement, and it'll be interesting this window, you know, to see if either of the two of them strengthen before that game, just to add a wee bit of spice to it. But I don't think you need to add spice to it. I think anybody that's been to a Hibs Hearts game will know what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, have you ever been to an Edinburgh derby?
I haven't actually.
No?
I've never seen one.
Yeah.
I've only watched it on the TV. Never attended one.
You really should go. Did you like playing at Tynecastle?
I did enjoy Tynecastle as well, but I found it always awkward. I mean, I played plenty of game cup ties with Aberdeen against Hearts there. It was always a difficult place to go and try and get a result. But you know, I'm sure the derby there is a fiery one. But you know, it's two teams they're bang on form at the moment, so it will be a great tie.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, Gavin Riley is one of those players. He was at Queen of the South, and he's now in the Hearts lineup, and actually scored a couple of goals and just really made himself a regular starter with the Jambos. And of course, he's buzzing for this one.
I'm excited. I've watched the games on the telly when I was younger and seen it, and it's a fantastic rivalry. I mean, I'd say it's up there with Celtic and Rangers, so definitely looking forward to it. But it's a big game for us, and we're in the Premiership and the Championship. We've got to give them the respect. They're doing well, but we need to go on and win it. We're at home, so we're confident we can do that.
I think it's fair to say Hearts will be the favourites, Ruffy.
Yeah, home advantage. But as Gordon was saying the other night there, the results between each other recently haven't been one-sided. Both teams have had their fair share. I think it'll be an exciting game. I think both teams are improving sides, and I think it'll be a great game. It'll be very difficult to decide who's going to win on the day. It'll be a typical derby game, everything at stake, and I think it'll be very close.
And yet, strangely enough, yesterday you stumped for the Championship side.
Yeah, I said after a replay, I think if Hibs were to go there and get a draw, it would be a really, really good result to take them back to Easter Road, and then they would fancy themselves there.
Okay, so you're taking Hibs?
Eventually. And I'm not going to say because I'm a Hibs supporter.
Exactly. Of course, at least Dylan McGeoch, who's an ever present in that Hibs midfield, he says they'll be ready when the time comes.
Personally, I really enjoyed the games last year. As a player, you want to be involved in the big games, so I've missed it personally, but I think we've got a lot of big games this season in the Championship, obviously Rangers and Falkirk and stuff like that, so that's keeping us occupied now, but once we go to Tynecastle in a few weeks, we'll be ready for it.
He's been a key play for them, Joe, and that's the one area where I think Hibs really are at their best. The middle of the park, they're strong.
Yeah, they are very strong in the middle of the park, and you know, I think the way that Dylan's went about that, you know, he's moved from Celtic, you know, it's gave him a lift. It's helped his career and it's enhanced his career, so he'll be enjoying his role there, and he'll be looking to, you know, help Hibs try to get pushed to get into the Premier League. But it's cup ties like this that make a breaky as well. You've got to be a big player in these games, coming up against Hearts in a derby game. You know, I'm sure you raise his game, and But as you say, the whole midfield area has been an area where they've really impressed this year.
Yeah, and if there's one tie again, roughly, that I can't second guess, Rangers against Kilmarnock, of course. It was interesting to see the chat about what reaction the former Rangers players who are now at Kilmarnock, likes of Lee McCulloch, what reception will get Chris Boyd as well.
Yeah, again, they'll have something to look forward to. I think Rangers will fancy themselves with home advantage, but I think if you look at Kilmarnock's form this year, all their good stuff's been away from home, it's particularly in the last round, where we couldn't see that one coming, beating St Johnstone. So they'll go there with a style of play and hope they can frustrate Rangers, but it looks at Rangers for me.
Yeah, of course, the striker Kenny Miller has mentioned that the team have come a long way since that defeat to St Johnstone in the League Cup.
Like people say, is this going to be the barometer of Rangers? Are they ready to make the step back up on which on the night I thought we actually played pretty well. Where we found wanting a couple of counter attacks and we gave ourselves an uphill struggle, conceding a third goal just after half time, which was always going to make it tough for us. But no, I think we played pretty well. We've come a long way since then. The team's become stronger. We've found ways to counter the deficiencies that we had at that point. So, and we're still scoring goals. 15 goals we've scored in the last 3 games. Hopefully a right few more before we play Kelly. So we're in a good place at the moment and thoroughly looking forward to that game.
I think Rangers are the favourites for that one, Joe.
Yeah, again, home advantage and a team that's riding top of the league, so yeah, good, but it's a cup tie, you know, anything can happen, but you know, Kilmarnock haven't had the best of times there going to Ibrox. I think even last year they had a difficult time there, they were turned over, so that is a difficult tie for Kilmarnock and Rangers, but you know, I think, as you say, the team on form, which is Rangers at the moment, could quite easily win that.
Yeah, this next interview that you're about to see, lads, I don't want any of you to going on a downer. I mean, I look at you, Ruffy, you're still looking absolutely fantastic for your age. Joe, again, equally so, you still have your boyish looks. The two of you, I think, deserve tremendous praise for the way you've kept yourself fit and, I was going to say in shape, but I don't want to rip the back end out of it. But don't go on a downer when you see the next man, because, of course, Brian Laudrup was helping conduct the draw yesterday, and the obvious question was put to the great Dane about the demise of the club that he still holds dear to his heart.
I think it saddens every former player. If something like that happens to any club and you've played there, I mean, you leave your heart at any club, but some clubs you leave a lot more than just a little bit. And for me, it was very sad and something I mean, if you had asked me 5 or 7 years, 10 years ago, if this could happen to Rangers, no chance. And then it happened. So I think it will be tremendous when this club gets back to the top flight again, and it will happen.
If I was Rangers, I'd make a bid for him now, Joe, and just see if they can get him on a contract until the end of the season. He looks in great nick, doesn't he?
He could play the next James Bond. Daniel Radcliffe's is shaking in his boots, isn't it?
Ruffy, I don't know what they've got in their porridge over there, but it's just sensational.
Yeah, it certainly is, but you can see a few wrinkles beginning to appear, up here, so he's like everybody else.
And you'll never believe this. My producers just said to me, Daniel Radcliffe is Harry Potter, by the way. Joe, you mean Daniel Craig, Joe? I don't think Brian Laudrup would be too up for playing Harry Potter, but nevertheless, he looks great. And of course, Joe, you must have struggled to recognise Brian Laudrup there, because usually you were watching the back of his head.
Yeah, that's right. It's a change for that happening to me, but at the same time, he's some player. He's some player. But he's looked after himself, obviously still plays five-a-sides.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, he was a talent.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. The abiding memory I have of him, Ruffy, is Brian O'Neill lying on his backside as he was running away from him, because he was just unbelievably quick with great skills. Yeah,
Joe probably appreciate it more than me. The ability to go by people. You don't see it now. It's all about speed. It's all about pace. Nobody takes the ball up to somebody, goes by a couple of players and excites the whole crowd. it's all about fitness, and he certainly wasn't that at all. He was magnificent.
Yeah, we now know that the Ballon d'Or winner is Lionel Messi. I don't think too many people have a disagreement with that. What I do have a disagreement is some of the voting. I mean, it's quite clear, Joe, there's not a lot of thought process goes into this, because the number of managers and players were voting for either the players that played for them or their mates. I mean, it was just so biased at times, some of the votes.
Yeah, it was, and you know, I think even the captains of the clubs around Europe were all putting their votes in as well. So, you know, you could say it was a bit biased, but I think there was only one winner, and that was, you know, everybody enjoyed what he did last season. You know, Lionel Messi, he's outstanding. You know, I'm sure he could win it year in, year out. But you know, what's his competitor is Ronaldo, but you know, it's between those two all the time. So
yeah, when Neymar was in there as well. I must have a word with Scott Brown. I've had a look at his you know, Messi only won 5 of the major cups, and Scott had gone for Lewandowski. I can understand, he's watched them, you know, put Scotland to the storm. Ronaldo, can't argue with it. Thomas Muller, I can see where he's going there. Thomas Muller I thought was magnificent, but Messi.
Yeah, Messi for me as well, but all credit to Ronaldo, you know, trying to chat up Messi's wife, you know. Top man.
I don't know. I don't know if I didn't see that. Did you see that? And on that bombshell from the programme, I'll have a word with Scott Brown and see what he was thinking. Thanks for watching the programme. From Joe, Robbie, and myself. Good night.